Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. And today I'm going to explain to you how to mix or reconstitute HCG. Understand this is going to be a more in-depth explanation. It's going to be very by the book. And so I just want to teach everybody how to really do this the right way. Not the bro way or the shortcut way. We want to do this properly. Before we get into that, just a big shout out and thank you to everybody out there supporting the channel. You guys are absolutely amazing. The likes, the shares, the subs. Please, if you haven't yet, like, share, comment, whatever you can do to feed the algorithm and help the channel grow. Now, today's video is sponsored by letsgetchecked.com. Now, letsgetchecked.com specializes in at-home blood testing, and they do it all for male and female. They got hormonal, wellness, sexual health, COVID, everything. And you've got a huge selection and you got great prices. You can save even more. Coupon code Gemelli30, save yourself 30% off. All you got to do, go to their site, order whatever tests you want, ship them, or they're going to ship them to you. Take the test, ship them right back. Your results are going to come very, very fast. They're going to be online. You got doctors and nurses there to answer questions for you and help you in any way that you need. Fast, discreet, reliable. Letsgetchecked.com. 30% off with the code Gemelli30. So let us discuss how to mix or reconstitute HCG, also known as human chorionic gonadotropin. I want to be as by the book on this explanation as I can and try to give all the terminology in its full form. All right, so HCG is a common support medication in testosterone therapy for men. It's also used for fertility treatment for men and women, as many of us know. Some people tend to attempt to use it for weight loss as well. That's a totally different discussion. Now, HCG is going to come in a powder form. It's called lyophilized, and it needs to be mixed or reconstituted before you actually use it. So the liquid that's used to reconstitute it is called bacteriostatic water. Oftentimes it's going to come with your order. Now it has 0.9% benzyl alcohol as an antimicrobial preservative in it as well. I discussed this in sterile water versus backwater, so I encourage you to watch that. Now, by the book, like I said, so first, wash your hands, gather your materials. Please thoroughly wash your hands with soap and water a good 20 seconds. You want to be as sterile as possible when doing this. It's really, really important. People get careless and then problems happen. Now, after that, you want to get all your prep materials. You're going to need an alcohol wipe. You're going to need your backwater. You're going to need your HCG files, your reconstitution syringe and needle, and you really should have a sharps container for safe disposal of your needles. If you're planning to inject after you reconstitute your HCG, you can prep a second syringe, needle, alcohol wipe. Avoid using the same needle, please. It's going to avoid contamination and it's going to avoid a dull needle point. Number two, prep your materials. So you're going to want to just take the caps off your backwater, your HCG vials, and you're going to want an alcohol wipe to sterilize the top of each vial. Then you're going to want to add the needles to your syringe, but don't let the needle touch your fingers. Don't let it rest on any other surface either, and don't let it come in contact with anything, because these are the types of things that do lead to contamination. They do. It's a stupid way to cause yourself a problem by being careless. Now, if you're going to inject afterwards, place your second needle on its syringe. Don't let it touch the tip of the needle to touch anything. Make sure that your second alcohol wipe is easily within reach, because you got to clean the skin of the injection site prior to injecting. Number three, we're going to now draw up our backwater. So the amount of backwater, it's going to depend on the size of your vial. Generally speaking, HCG is going to come in a 10,000 IU vial, which means you'll need 10 milliliters of bacteriostatic water. Now, the measurements on your syringe should be in milliliters. You're going to want to pull air into the syringe up to the required amount, which is typically 10 milliliters, but you got to check your pharmacy information beforehand. This is just generally speaking. Now, you're then going to want to hold the bacteriostatic water upside down, and you're going to want to pierce the stopper with your needle. Then you're going to want to slowly inject air into the vial. If you feel any pressure, just stop and then allow the syringe to adjust. Then you're going to want to begin pressing the plunger again until the air is all out of your actual vial there, and then the backwater has entered the syringe to the appropriate amount. Always avoid letting the needle come into contact with anything, please. I just want to keep threading this into your mind. You don't want to contaminate anything. 4, now we're going to want to inject the bacteriostatic water into the lyophilized HCG. Sorry, I'm thinking about so many things here on reconstituting. Now, pierce the stopper of the HCG vial with the needle of your water-filled syringe, all right? Then we got to slowly push the back water into the vial. If you feel any pressure, just stop and let it equalize before you move forward. The plunger may push backwards several times before you're finished. Do not force any of the water into the HCG vial. Go really slowly, really carefully, because these are delicate powders. Then you're going to want to very gently swirl the solution until the powder and the back water have fully combined. Don't shake it. Please don't do that. And don't be aggressive when you mix it. Once you're finished, you shouldn't see any powder in the HCG vial. Then the next step is inject your HCG if desired. So if you're ready to inject your HCG, then you want to utilize the second needle we talked about in the syringe and the alcohol wipe. HCG injections are really typically done subcutaneously, so make sure to follow the guidance of whatever medical provider you have or pharmacy or whatever. Just make sure that you know what you're doing first, okay? Now you're going to want to store your HCG, so after it's reconstituted, then you're going to want to immediately refrigerate it. That's important. Now, prior to mixing it, it actually can be kept at room temperature, but right when you start to mix it and reconstitute it with the backwater, it's got to be put in the refrigerator. All right? Now, generally speaking, when you reconstitute HCG, it can typically be used for 60 to 90 days from the date of the reconstitution. I prefer to say 30, but that's up to you. If you accidentally leave it out of the refrigerator, it's likely fine, but don't, use it if it's been out longer than like 72 hours. And that's even pushing it for me. I know that's what's generally recommended, but I'm more along the lines of like 48, but that's up to you. Now, each line on a standard syringe is equal to 10 units of HCG once it's, mixed and reconstituted. So here's kind of a calculation for you. 10 units is going to equal 100 IUs, 25, 250, 50 units is going to equal 500 IUs of HCG. So if you are instructed to take, say, like 100 IUs, you're going to draw enough to fill up to the 10 line, right? So your provider or your doctor, whoever's giving you advice or whatever the case may be, they should actually work and develop whatever frequency and dosing schedule is right for you. And look, the dosing is going to change for a variety of reasons, whether you're using it for on a steroid cycle, obviously, or if you're using it for a lot of people are trying to get fertility back and they're running different kinds of stacks and cycles to attempt to do that, and HCG is a big part of it, and the dosing is probably going to be different there. If you're trying the HCG diet, it could be different there. Some people, like myself, believe that if you're on a cycle that you don't need to be blasting HCG, and 1,000 IUs a week is more than enough, and some people think you need like 10, 20, 30,000 IUs a week. I certainly don't believe in that, but look, I'm not going to argue about it. That's just where I stand on it, and I'll do another video talking about that at some point. But my point here is that the dosing is going to be different of so many different scenarios, beliefs, situations, etc. So that's how to mix and reconstitute HCG. I hope that was helpful, beneficial, and kind of broke it down the right way to do it. I know that a lot of us rush it and do this, that, and don't follow half of those steps, but I want to make sure that it's thoroughly explained how you're supposed to do it. So, that being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.